we should tell each other the truth. When there was an insecurity in the Northeast between 2010 to 2020, there was no hunger in the country. Most of the industries get their inputs, particularly from the agro-allied industries and mining. When bandits or so-called Boko Haram or criminals realize that it's better for them to promote hunger than for them to constitute insecurity to a location, they expanded their operations beyond Northeast to affect Northwest and North Central. And we are all aware these three zones, whether you like it or not, contributes more than 80% of what is consumed in this country and what is being imputed in various industries in this country to produce. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, complacency is not the right thing. Rome or Roman Empire used to be the greatest empire in the world, but it was destroyed by the complacency of the Romans. There is nothing wrong. Since you are facing insurgency, you are facing external aggression, to invite anybody that can come in and assist you to provide even temporary solution to what is happening so that the long-term solution can be provided gradually. Sir, I said it the other time, I want to repeat it. I am commending the effort of our security chiefs. I am commending the effort of our gallant military and other agents of coercion. They are doing their best. But I want us to know that they equally need a helping hand. Most countries of the world, if they are in war, they invite mercenaries. They recruit mercenaries to assist them. Nigeria is not as powerful as Ukraine. Nigeria is not as powerful and advanced as Russia. But they still bring mercenaries to help them, to assist them in facing their own enemies in the battle lines. So, sir, to me, there is nothing wrong if we can bring in mercenaries because we attempted doing it in the past and it worked until when they were removed in this country. So there is a need to sit down with the security chiefs and discuss the idea of bringing in mercenaries to clear our land of insecurity. If not, the hunger we faced from the beginning of this year for next year is going to be worse, because you have to look at their strategy. Now they are trying to stop people from going to farms, especially in the Northeast, in the Northwest, and the North Central. They know if they do that, the whole country will be in hunger and there will be agitation. People can take weapons against government. We shouldn't take it lightly. You should understand this. We had issues of hunger in January, February, and March. And we will have worse if we didn't stop these people from preventing people to go to farmlands and cultivate their farms. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on the floor of this House, we have been passing resolutions, reaching consensus on security issues. But we have not been seeing practical results, even in a dyadic encounter or an executive session. We deserve to know the truth because we represent our people. We are here to speak and on behalf of our people. So we are the first people that should know. Democracy emanated in the ancient Greek city-states, and people gather in a marketplace to sit down and discuss the affairs of their state. And now it's constituency. You represent Bende, I represent Chibok Damboa Federal Constituency. People of Bende deserve to know the truth from you, and people of Chibok Damboa Goza deserve to know the truth from me. And I can only know that if and only if I've been communicated effectively. Right. For that matter, this is where I want to make my contribution. I urge us to at least look at the alternative of bringing in mercenaries to assist our existing military and other agents of coercion on ground to end insecurity in the country. Thank you, sir.
from that region becomes hampered. That we deploy more security presence around areas of trade and commerce to buffer and encourage residents who defy such threats from non-state actors and come to trade, and ensure that their life and properties are being protected. I say this in addition to also supporting non-kinetic approach, such as those being driven by the Deputy Speaker himself and all members from this House, and especially the Southeast, wherein we deploy non-kinetic approach and political approach, as it were, depending on the situation and the case, to ensure results are achieved. Secondly and lastly, I would contribute also that we are aware that over the years, critical security centers like police stations and police and security infrastructure have been touched or burnt down or destroyed by non-state actors, leaving those areas which ordinarily ought to be policed vacant and open to further invasion and intimidation of the people who now move in fear of terror. I suggest that this House do also resolve, as part of our resolution, to mandate the necessary security agencies like the police and the ministry to make the necessary appropriation or budgetary provision to repair this destroyed infrastructure, so that those gaps which have now widened and have become places where these non-state actors actually now reside become reclaimed, reconstructed, and reinforced to add to the security architecture overall. I want to appreciate Mr. President and the security team for doing an impressive work, because over the last few years, I want to observe that security has improved, because if we also point out where there are improvements, then it will lead for better improvement of the security architecture. Thank you, Honorable.
Yeah, are you, so you have an
sentiment and points validly made by all the earlier speakers addressing the issue of insecurity once again on the floor of this hallowed chamber. Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw a small analogy. When a problem, when an issue affects the health of an individual and he goes to a health center to see a medical doctor, the doctor asks a lot of questions and makes diagnosis. Because in most cases, when we look at the manifestation of an illness, without probing further into the root cause of the illness, we may make a wrong prescription. And so I want to just quickly say that, Mr. Speaker, there is a very direct correlation between insecurity and one, poverty. There's a direct correlation between insecurity and unemployment. There's a direct correlation between insecurity and education. These are established facts. And that is the reason why, if you look at the areas most prone to insecurity today in Nigeria, and you compare them with the statistics on the degree or percentage of poverty established by world bodies, you will discover that the places most affected by insecurity today in Nigeria are the poorest part of Nigeria. They are the least educated part of Nigeria. Fact. I'm not picking up figures on my head. By UNICEF, by WHO, by all world organizations. In other words, the problems we are seeing today are as a result of seeds that we have sown or refused to sow 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And so it is good we are addressing the effect. We are addressing the physical manifestation. But sir, we need to go back to the roots. There is a saying that the man who opens the door of a school closes the door to a prison. Mr. Speaker, if we have 17.5 million children out of school in Nigeria, it will be very strange for us to expect that there will be any other result rather than the result we're having today. But the question is, what are we doing today to ensure that we get our children back to schools, that we provide jobs for the unemployed, that we provide social security system that will make the vulnerable members of this society not want to resort to crime? If you arrest 10 persons on the scene of the crime, Mr. Speaker, I can bet you that hardly will you find 10% of that number who are graduates or who have gainful employment. Most probably they are people who did not go to school, who fell out of school, who are victims of drugs, victims of broken homes, and those who do not have jobs. So, Mr. Speaker, I am advising that Nigeria should take greater interest in investment in education, investment in poverty alleviation schemes and job creation, investment in social security systems that will make people seek other alternate means of survival when they have pressure rather than yielding to the temptation of going into crime. When we do all this, Mr. Speaker, we will be preventing a snowballing of the present situation and problem in the next 5-10 years. It is good we solve the problem today, but what happens in the next 5-10-15 years will depend on how much of attention we pay on the critical input into governance. Reduce poverty drastically, provide a means for people to get a job when they go to school, and make sure our children go back to school, especially in the northern part of the country where we have the most serious cases of insecurity in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Please.
Thanks for yielding the floor to me. My name is Kingsley Chinda. I represent Obiabo constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from River State. My dear colleagues, I will start by saying that though tongues and tribe may differ, though political parties and religion may differ, one area that we have agreed in this House, united together, is the issue of insecurity. We have all agreed from all the contributions that something need be done and need to be done urgently. I will say that I have not seen any parliament today that discusses the issue of insecurity as much as we do, which is a clear sign that we are concerned and that we are worried. You will also recall that in the past we have agreed that all the resolutions of this House that has to do with insecurity should be collated and then an action be taken on these resolutions. We are yet to do this. Again, let me quickly say that we should look at the cause of insecurity, which our colleagues here have highlighted, and then perhaps dedicate a day, sir, a particular day set aside for us to discuss this issue of insecurity and arrive at resolutions. Because of the activities of this morning, I would not want to take more time on this issue than to say that I fully support all the contributions and ask that we take a day for us to discuss this issue of insecurity on the floor of this House and perhaps declare or urge the executive arm to declare an emergency on insecurity. One of the major problems is the issue of food insecurity, which we appear to overlook. When people are hungry, you don't expect them to be normal. We have food prices skyrocketing every day. We also need to check these things. But Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I support this motion and pray that action should be taken that will work outside the box on this issue of insecurity. Thank you, sir.
We can take on this. We have handled the issues comprehensively. If we allow all members to speak, everyone here has gotten something to talk about. And I would suggest, just like the minority leader pointed out, we choose a date to handle only the issue of insecurity and the way forward. Right now, we are going to vote on the amendments presented before the House. The first amendment was the one moved by Right Honorable Idris Wase, that his constituency be added to the prayer. Any seconder to that motion? Yes, Deputy Chairman Ami.
Based on the submission made by Honorable Ishiaka and that of Abbas Adiogun. Mr. Speaker, what I was saying is simple. Trying to cure the above mentioned reasons why our current personnel are not performing by Honorable trying to cure the mentioned items why our security agencies are not performing as enumerated by Abbas Adiogun. One, he said we don't have enough personnel to provide security for 200 million Nigerians. Am I right? He said we don't have the required equipment to fight the war. Am I right? He said we don't have the required stimulants, in other words, welfare, to encourage our security personnel to fight the war. If you don't have that, there is nothing wrong in recruiting. A recruitment can come either from within or from outside. Army strength of Ukraine and Russia is better than that of Nigeria, but they still invite mercenaries to come with their personnel, with their equipment, and whatever you can think of to assist them and end the war they are facing. So this is the only thing I'm asking. I am not saying the security chiefs or service chiefs are not performing. Yes, they are doing their best, but what I am saying is, in as much as we have this war for almost 2 decades today, and we spend more than 19 trillion naira on it, and in the past, during Jonathan Goodluck, there was mercenaries, and they were performing before they were removed. There is nothing wrong in bringing them back so that they can augment the effort of each other. Synergy can only be achieved if you have two fusing together or merging together. That is my concern. All right. But if it's the leaf of the house, there is nothing wrong. I can step down my motion.
Some people want to speak on this. Let me...
This country at once, this country, Nigeria, at once engaged mercenaries. I don't see any controversy in what Honorable Jah suggested. And it is to finding a solution to a raging problem. I don't think that this is supposed to cause a controversy between Honorable Jah and Honorable Abbas. I think, Mr. Speaker, a motion has been moved. It has been seconded. You put it to vote.
No,
I let the House vote.
It's not been
Thank
seconded.
you, Mr. Speaker.
That motion, and it's not a battle between Honorable Abbas and Jah. It's a debate on the floor. It's not personal. You know, we don't do personal debates here. It's an issue on the floor which everybody have the right to contribute to. Please, before I come to you, Honorable Idris, Leke was standing. Leke, let's hear you.
Thank you. Honorable Leke Abejide is my name. I represent the good people of Yagbafe constituency. I'm from Kogi State. You can see I've been raising up my hands severally because of the dangers embedded in these machineries that we are talking about. Peradventure, you invite these machineries, they come, and they help you solve this problem, as you said. And it happens that they are facing challenges after they go back to their country. They could not survive well, and they are hungry. They will create more insecurity for you because you are the one that will be feeding them. If it is true that they have appeared here before, then we need to investigate the level of insecurity we are having today. That mercenaries may be the cause of that. What I subscribe to is this adaptation of strategies that Honorable Miriam mentioned. We can use our local hunters. I have in my own area, there's a community called Ifelukoto. They have a squad called Lion Squad. In that environment, there is no kidnapping that can take place that these people will not get them. They understand the terrain. We agreed that what we are fighting is asymmetric war. It is not a normal war that you can invite mercenary that you are comparing to Ukraine and the other country. These are war that is not known to the system. So please, inviting mercenaries will create more insecurity for us in the future. Because if those people too are having problem with us, the same country, having problem with Nigeria, then who are we going to invite? Who are we going to invite to come and help us solve the problem? Right, so let us look inward to solve our own problem. Thank you so much.
This I represent was a federal constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, just a quick reminder that when Honorable Abbas brought up some issues, you did rule as order sustained.
And I still want to bring to your attention and the attention of the House. These are matters of strategy. You don't discuss, like it is being canvassed and said, issues of security strategy on the floor of the House. No parliament does that. And we shall be in the open, and we shall be now doing the service. Whether we're going to have it or not have it, this is a matter for the room discussion. If we are in executive discussion, executive session, this matter could be discussed thoroughly. I want to beg my colleagues who have input to give, to allow for that day that was canvassed by my brother, minority leader of the House, so that we can have a very report, whether executive or, and now if we are going to go into this aspect, I will call executive. Your Excellency, I want to beg that we need to restrain our emotions so that we don't lose the fame as to what we want to achieve. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. By Honorable Isiaka on relying on 8 sub 6, that order was sustained. And to that extent, conversations around this issue was, by the move of the gavel, suspended. So that was why I called Honorable Jaha to reconsider stepping down his motion before other people showed interest to discuss this issue. I'm in agreement with the Right Honorable Idris Wase that issues of strategy, security strategy, should not be thrown to the open. Executive section, maybe yes, it is to the exclusive reserve of the security experts to handle. So, I throw the question back to Honorable Jah. Are you willing to step down this motion before I ask the question?
No. It's okay, sir. I'm a Jah Baba, once again, Chief of Damboa Federal Constituency. Since it's the opinion of the leadership, including former leadership, to step down in an executive session whenever and wherever the need arises, I step down. For the first time, I step down this motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And also watching the mood of the House. It's all for good, so that we can get the things done and well done. So, motion for amendment by Honorable Jaha, step down by the leave of the House. So, a 5th amendment motion, which Honorable Abbas subscribed to, and that was to increase the recruitment of more security agents. I don't think issues like welfare, update equipment, and community policing should come under this amendment. Do we limit your amendment to asking that the security agencies be given waiver based on the fact that we are about 230 million? And like you said, all the security agencies put together, they are not enough in line with global best practices to police and to defend Nigeria. Are you standing by that motion for amendment?
Mr. Speaker, again,